When I was in second grade, I wet my pants. It was after recess, and class had resumed at St. Francis of Assisi School. Sister Joseph Edward, who had a strict manner, which, as a second grader, I found completely intimidating, although she was only as tall as me. She had a permanent glare, and a rosary that hung down almost to the floor, a sure sign of religious power. She eventually tried to scold my mother, so this story has a happy ending. Recess was a time when the glare was gone because Sister Joseph Edward wasn't on the playground. We ran and laughed and yelled and had a ball for what seemed like 5 minutes or so. Then it was line up, shut up, and we marched back into submission. I probably should have exercised better bladder management. I should have foregone a part of my precious recess to make sure I got to the boys' bathroom before class started. Alas, I did not. In fact, I had to go. I raised my hand and made a timid request, got scolded by the nun in authority, Sister Joseph Edward, and told to sit. I did. I sat, and a half hour later I was squirming in my seat, trying to concentrate, caught between a physical need and a need to conform. I endured it until I couldn't. Then I raised my hand and requested that I be allowed to go to the bathroom. "Sit down," she ordered. In another few minutes I wet my pants. I couldn't hold it any more. The clear yellow puddle spread across the floor. Classmates reacted with horror. Sister Joseph Edward sprang into action, belittling me, scolding, greatly put out that she had to now alert the janitor. "I'm calling your mother. She now has to bring you dry pants," Sister complained. I imagined my mother scolding me. I was in such a frenzy of anxiety that I was concerned that I would have to change pants in front of my classmates. I was scared my mom would be angry too, and I'd have to deal with Mom's fury and Sister Joseph Edward's fury at the same time, and I was only 6 years old. I sat in misery, wet misery. There was a knock at the door, and Sister answered. She ordered me to come with her, and we stepped into the hall. And there was my mom, holding a pair of whitey tighties and a pair of my blue slacks neatly folded. She handed them to me. "You're a big boy," she said. "Why did you wet your pants?" "Because I asked to go to the bathroom and she wouldn't let me," I blurted. "What?" my mom asked, then turned to Sister. "Is this true?" Sister put on a defensive posture, incensed at the question. Finally, she said, "He could have gone during recess." I saw fury rise in my mom's face. To me it was like the cavalry arriving, just in time to save the good guys from the bad guys. Mom composed herself. I'd seen her flip out on us kids many times. She almost unloaded on Sister Joseph Edward, but she caught herself. She asked me, "How many times did you ask?" "Twice," I answered. Sister blurted out, "We can't let every kid go every time there's a request." My mother said, "You listen to me. My kid," she pointed at me but looked scornfully at Sister, "my kid goes to the bathroom any time he asks you. You let him go whenever he asks." Sister was quiet, like she didn't agree to this rule, this law my mother had just laid down. My mom broke the silence quickly. "Do we understand each other, Sister?" "Yes," Sister conceded. She turned curtly to me. "Go change in the boys' bathroom and return to class." She turned on her heel and went back into the classroom. The door closed. My mom said, "I'll wait for you to change so I can take your wet clothes home." I remember struggling to get the wet clothes off, hopping on one foot in the boys' bathroom. I finished changing and went back out to give my mom the soiled clothing. She had a paper grocery bag and put them in it. She said, "If she does that again, I want to know." "Okay," I said. "Thanks, Mom." Her fierce mode softened, and she gave me a hug. "Back to class," she said. I tell this story because the experience made me realize that I live under different authorities at different times in my life. Parent, teacher, boss, health officials. I have some choices. When to use the bathroom can be controlled, but it has human limits. I was not being a bad boy by wetting my pants. I was being human. It was not a character flaw. It was a natural law that I would need to get to the bathroom or I would have an accident. As I got older, I know that people my age who may look healthy and fit most likely have plumbing problems. There are things we can do. As men age, they can't wait as long between trips to the bathroom. Women too, but for different plumbing failures. I used to carry a small plastic urinal on long car trips. There are a few things worse than a huge traffic jam and needing to go but having no hope of finding a restroom. So the urinal gave me peace of mind. Knowing it was there under the seat if I needed it relieved anxiety. I even used it a few times and congratulated myself on my willingness to do what I needed to in order to meet my human needs. I know others that use Depends. More Depends are sold than disposable diapers for children. That's amazing. You know what that means. Do you realize the implications? It means that most of your peers and friends and the people your age need and use Depends. So there can't be any ridicule from them. The fear of accidents was drilled into us as little kids. Control your bladder and your bowels, or we'll deal with you harshly. Now that fear is a hindrance to your happiness, so I'm asking you to let it go. You have people who are paid to keep you safe and clean and dry and comfortable, and they aren't ridiculing you. They aren't looking at needing help around this issue as a character flaw. You haven't lost your dignity. Did you know kings in the old days had a royal valet, and his job was to wipe the king? Not once he got old, whenever he used the royal chamber pot. Do you think the king felt awkward or flawed? No. Kings have pretty healthy self-esteem. You should too. People are employed and take home a paycheck, buy groceries and pay rent and buy their kids birthday presents and new shoes and things like that because you need a little help now and then. It's good for the economy. We all thrive. You are not a burden. You are a way people make money to spend on the things they need and want, and that is good. Stop imagining that it's undignified for a caregiver to help you in the bathroom. Forget about that. Only a person who doesn't know people would consider it undignified. The strongest among us, the wisest, the most humble, the most compassionate, the boots on the ground in this battle for hygiene, are able to put aside what others think in favor of hands-on helping such as this. As society ages, we will have to let this go to realize, as a group, that people's plumbing begins to fail after 50, and there's no quick fix. The long-term solution is a couple of great inventions, Depends and baby wipes. The inventors of these products should have each won a Nobel Prize if we consider their usefulness to humanity. Your usefulness to humanity hasn't ended because you might have an accident now and then. You may feel like I once did, waiting for my mom while Sister Joseph Edward scowled at me. You are not helpless. You are an adult with a normal body, one that's aging. You need some help sometimes. It's not a character flaw. Your peers don't look down on you because they are facing the same difficulties. We're all learning to lighten up. It feels so good to lighten up. Someday, I'll be honored to return the favor my mom did for me when I was in 2nd grade. I'll bring her dry clothes. I'll assure her that it's okay. I'll remind her that she went to bat for me all those years ago. The whole school eventually learned she took down Sister Joseph Edward because kids gossip just as much as adults. No one messed with me over wetting my pants. They love what my mom had done against Sister and her cruel rule. Your assignment for today, your usefulness to humanity, is to be happy. In being happy, you make it easier for those helping you to help, for them to have a pleasant day, taking care of a pleasant person, taking care of you.